Hey, it's Matt Moscona. You found it. Your home for all the latest news and conversation around your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. And this channel is powered by BetUS. Up to a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000. It's all at BetUS. The link is in the description on this video. Who dat?
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
My contention is that the New Orleans Saints are financially bound to Derek Carr for 2 seasons, 2 more seasons, meaning 2024 and 2025. This was, I believe, unavoidable whenever they restructured Derek Carr's contract this offseason. And it was something that a lot of people assumed that they were going to do, and rightfully, because that's how the Saints tend to structure contracts and make their cap situation work. I was hopeful that the Saints might not do that they would play the season out, find other ways to get within cap compliance, and give themselves the opportunity to move on from Derek Carr after 2024 if it didn't go the way that we'd all like to see it go, which is Derek Carr play well, the Saints win. Because I will never be the guy that cheers against my team. I'm never going to be bummed when they win a game or have success. I'm not going to root for them to lose. I would love for the New Orleans Saints to go 11-6 this year, win the division, make the playoffs, and make a run. I just don't believe that's going to happen. As I've said so many times with Derek Carr, when you're a decade into the league, there's a large enough sample size that we know what you are. And what Derek Carr is exactly what he's shown for a decade. He's a mid-tier, lower mid, upper bottom tier quarterback in the NFL. Last year, he was 16th in the NFL in QBR at 56.5. He's just okay. He's not going to win a championship. He's not going to carry your team to a title. He's just okay. Good dude, good teammate, hard worker, good person, all that stuff. But as he is a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's just not a championship quarterback in the NFL. That's my contention. It's always been my contention. Since the day they signed him, that's been my contention. And a lot of you hated me for it a year and a half ago, and a lot of y'all are on my side now. Anyway, Dan Graziano, who's covered the NFL forever, works for ESPN, you all know that, looked at 11 teams with quarterback questions about what they might do in 2025. And one of them, of course, was Derek Carr. And Graziano runs through a lot of this, noting Carr's 33 years old. The Saints coaching staff probably enters the season on thin ice. I think they do enter the season on thin ice. He talked about the contract and how Carr's agent did a good job structuring this contract, where it's really going to be painful for the Saints if they move on after this year. But something he notes is Carr is in a solid spot regardless of what the Saints decide, and with a good season, could be in position to help dictate their decision. Okay. He notes if things completely fall apart for the Saints, sweeping changes could come. They note the most likely outcome, Saints are a fringe wildcard team and Carr's back next year. And the long shot outcome is DA gets fired, you go interim with like Spencer Rattler late in the season, and you move on from Carr. And then potentially draft Carson Beck, Shadur Sanders, someone like that near the top of the draft. We'll get right back to the video, but thrilled to tell you we're partnered this football season with BetUS. If you love to sports bet like I do, you got to check out BetUS. Even if you're with another book, you need to make the switch because right now, BetUS is offering new customers a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Why wouldn't you take advantage of this? And with the Saints getting ready to take on the Niners Sunday in preseason game number 2, it's an awesome time to check out BetUS for the first time. For example, grab the app, pull up the website right there. You'll hit the football tab. So easy. The drop down will pop up. and you can bet on anything you want. You want to bet on the preseason, you could do it. You'll find the Saints and the 49ers for the NFL preseason odds, and you can scroll all the way down, and you'll find that the Saints are a 1-point favorite right now over the 49ers Sunday's game in week 2 of the NFL preseason. You want to bet on it? There it is right there. So easy. Totals typically to the under in the preseason. Maybe a little bit of a correction by the odds makers. Total there for the Saints and the Niners at 39. I still like the under. But make your own bets. Have fun. Just do it with our friends at BetUS. Again, at BetUS, right now, a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Check it out. BetUS, proud partner here on AFR Saints. Few things. Y'all know where I stand on the Saints in the draft. Would love them to draft a quarterback in round 1. They've just done it once in their history. Until they do it again, I'm not going to believe they're going to do it. They did it in 1971 or 72 with Archie. That's it. It's the only time they've ever taken a first-round quarterback. That's it. That's the list. So until you do it again, I don't believe you're going to do it. The other problem, the gigantic problem with New Orleans, and we talk with Derek Carr, and I've gone through this before, but I'm going to mention it again. This is the problem that the Saints have with Derek Carr with having restructured his deal. Okay? The problem the Saints have with Derek Carr's contract is there is no easy way out of this financially. It is a situation where now I can't find it. Sorry. There it is. Sorry. Okay. Derek Carr, if the Saints were to move on from him after 2024, his dead cap number next year would be $50 million. Okay? $50 million if Derek Carr is not on the roster next year. Now, after 2025, you have a potential out for the deal. But regardless, he's still on your contract. He's still on your roster next year. And what stinks even more is that even if you tried to get out of the contract, you would still have Derek Carr's money on your books for the next 3 seasons. You'd spread it out, but next year, 25 would be brutal. So the only way that I see that the Saints could find a way out of that mess is if you had a cheap starting quarterback. It's the only way out. To where if you had Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener, who became a quality starting quarterback in the NFL, to where you could eat $50 million of dead cap money because you had a starting quarterback on a rookie day 3 draft pick contract. It's the only way it can happen. And remember, the Saints are already approximately $50 million projected over the cap for next year. So you're already $50 million over the cap for next year. And then after that, you're going to add $50 million more in dead. You're going to have $100 million in dead cap money next year. You can't field a team. They'll do what they always do. They'll restructure deals and manipulate contracts and verbiage and all that, and they'll just continue to screw themselves in future years. But if you ever want to get out of this mess, the only way to do it is to find a cheap option at quarterback. That, or you just play a cheap option at quarterback to allow your cap to reset until you can draft your way out of this with several drafts consecutively. So I get Dan Graziano looking at this and saying the likely outcome is the Saints are just good enough to keep Derek Carr for next year. That's probably what's going to happen because financially, you have to have something dramatic happen to get out of that. You'd have to go 2 wins to say, you know what, it's so bad we don't have a choice but to eat $50 million in dead cap money next year. Or the opposite happens, where the Saints win the division and go to the playoffs and you're happy to spend that money next year for Derek Carr. But I just don't see the option for New Orleans to be okay and to eat the Derek Carr contract. It's not something they've ever shown they will do, and it's something that financially is almost impossible to justify. which is why when they made the decision to restructure earlier in this offseason, I hated it, the same way I hated the decision to sign Derek Carr when they did it 18 months ago. Thanks so much for watching the video. Remember, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And our channel is powered by BetUS. 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000. All the info and the link in the description below.